Alright guys, this is my first in a series of videos meant to give you some instructions on how to do our budgeting project. This first video will cover how to do the part that deals with Jim and Pam's bank account. Alright, the one that we're looking at right now is Jim's bank account. The important thing to remember throughout this project is that it doesn't matter if it's Jim or Pam, both projects are nearly identical. The only difference is that Jim and Pam spend their money in some different places, but the numbers are identical, and that's the important part. As we look at this bank account, the information that's given to us is, first of all, the date of the transactions. Then we have the memo, which is a description of what they bought. We have any withdrawals are listed, which is when they spend money, how much money came out of the account. We have the deposits, which is any time that money is added to the account. And then the real important part is the balance, which is how much money is left over in the account. And as you'll see later on, Jim and Pam don't do a very good job of keeping that balance. So if we look at the first couple transactions, I just want to point out a couple things. Jim starts out with $1,500. As you see, the more he spends throughout the month, the more that balance goes down, slowly starts to dwindle away. First major thing I want to point out is that, as we see right here on January 10th, Jim goes out and spends a lot of money at Arrow, get himself a new wardrobe, and puts himself into the negative by $46. Then something kicks in for Jim called overdraft protection. We see right there. Let me explain how this works real quick. Overdraft protection, you may have learned about it in your bank research projects, but it protects your account anytime that you go into the negative or overdraft. What happens is, for a small fee, the bank will deposit money into your account, and that money will cover the amount that you went into the negative. So as you can see here, Jim went into the negative by $46. They added $65 to his account. Okay, now they did charge him $10 for that, so that's part of the $65. So they really added $55 to his account, which puts him at $8.90. And in turn, that $65 that they basically loaned him will go onto his credit card. So his credit card balance is now $65 higher. And you'll see that later on in the project when you see their credit card balance is so high. All of those have come from overdrafts. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. As you see, Jim got another deposit, brought his balance back up, then he slowly starts spending again, lowering that number lower and lower. Goes on through the month. He overdrafts again here. Alright, and the overdraft protection kicks in. Then eventually he ends up with an $8.49 balance at the end of the month. February is much the same. Okay, starts out with a deposit, slowly spends, overdrafts here, and ends the month close to the same at $5.02. As we go into March, you'll see that Jim stops keeping track of his bank statement, and that's where you come in, and you need to pick up the slack for him and start keeping that balance by either subtracting or adding based on what they're doing. As you go through the month, you'll see that I've made these little checkpoints for you. These are where I've inserted the numbers. That's an opportunity for you to check and make sure that you're doing this right. And if that number doesn't jive up when you get there, then you've made a mistake. You need to find it somewhere. Okay, so every now and then you'll just see I've inserted a number there, and that's just to make sure that you're on the right track. Let's go ahead and give you an example of how to do a couple of these. So as you see, Jim starts out the month with a $1,505.02 balance. Alright, so the first thing that happens to Jim is he has to pay rent for his apartment, which is $765 a month. So let's go over here, get our trusty calculator at. We got 1,505.02, and we're spending $765 on rent. Okay, so now our balance is $740.02. That should be 02. Sorry about that. 740.02. Okay, let's go and clear that out. Next one goes to Kroger's, buy some groceries. Alright, So our balance is 740.02. Alright, and we need to subtract 69.04. New balance is 670.98. So let's write that in. 670.98. Alright, and that's how you do it. It's very simple. Alright, it's basic subtraction and addition. Okay, as you go, once you get to this first checkpoint, you subtract 45 there, you should, or 45.72, you should have that balance of 520.57. If you don't have it, you've made a mistake and you need to go back and find it. Alright, this first overdraft is done for you. Hopefully through that first example, you understand what to do, which would be with the negative 5403. Okay, we're in the negative. We need to add $60 to our account. We're not adding 70 because remember there's a $10 fee. So if you were to take negative 5403 plus 60, you get that $5.97. Make sure when we get here to March 15th, we're going to add $1,500, not subtract. That's money coming in. Okay, you just go through and do all those transactions until you get to the very bottom here. All right, and your balance should be $8.96. All right, and that'll take you through the first step of this project. It should take you 20-30 minutes. There are a lot of addition and subtraction problems, but once again, that's fairly simple for you guys, so it shouldn't take too long. If you come across a question, all right, that this video didn't answer, go ahead and feel free to ask me. Have me come over and help you out. But this first part of the project is really pretty simple, so I don't foresee you having any problems.